Hello and welcome to Kingston Now. I'm Jimmy Buff. The primaries for City Council are Tuesday, and this week on the show we have two people vying for slots on the November ballot. For Ward 4, we're going to talk to Ishmail Shabaaz, but we begin with Clark Richters running for Ward 8. Hi, Clark. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
I'm going to call you Clark Kent Richters. You're sort of like the Superman of the blogging world of Kingston. By day, you're Clark Richters, but on the internet, you're really fighting the fight. How is the Kingston News blog going?
Good. I kind of like more Facebook than anything else. Everybody's on Facebook, so you have to keep up with the times. But I try to keep the public informed.
And you do. I mean, you're out and about. You're constantly posting updates about what's going on in the Kingston and now Kingston area in the city. And now that we're in the election season, you are running for alderman in Ward 8.
Yes.
Tell me where Ward 8 is.
Ward 8 extends from the Kingston Point Beach all the way, the roundout section to Ravine Street, which goes all over. So it's quite large in that it covers the waterfront, and it's very hilly. So there is no running. There is only walking up the hills.
So the Kingston waterfront, the roundout, is certainly a really important economic engine for the city of Kingston.
Yes.
There's been some great growth there. A lot of businesses are opening up. Would you call the economic area there, healthy?
Yes, as far as for Kingston, and I wanted to make it more for the whole city, because transportation-wise, and but what I really want to do is really take a focus on the residents of that ward, all the way down from the beach to Ravine Street side, just to really give them back their say in the arena of politics. So I think the city has been, which is good. The roundout's good. The walkway is nice. The business are great, and but I think the residents need more of a voice down there.
Certainly one of the issues facing the Kingston waterfront, in light of some pretty recent, some big storms recently, is the flooding that has taken place as a result of storm surge from Irene and from Sandy. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, I would the parts that you can't remake the waterfront. I mean, it is getting a little damaged from the flooding and stuff like that. So we have to go back and address that. As far as any new development, we really got to figure out how to set back from that. I mean, each year, as you know, with the climate changing, the storms get harder and harder, and it seems like I've seen it where it went all the way up to Hudson Valley Landing, right into the front door, and I've never seen it that far up before. So we definitely have to address that, along with, I know it's not my ward, but the flooding underneath the underpass. We're going to be talking about that on refixing the bridge because of his age of it. So I really want to, because I'm not really hearing anybody talking about the flooding issue, so I really want to address that as a whole for the underpass.
Yeah, we're talking about the Greenkill Railroad Bridge, which when we get any kind of heavy rain, floods, and not inconsequentially. I mean, it floods 6 or 7 feet deep. And
right,
is a potential
just a downpour.
hazard.
Yeah. And I've seen it where, if you're from Kingston, you're going to be aware of the problem. But if I've seen it, like it comes down so quickly that you don't have a chance to put the brakes on and stop. And it's a real hazard and a safety issue.
So the primary is Tuesday. You have your own party that you started, political party, the Kingston Lighthouse Party. What is the platform of the Kingston Lighthouse Party?
For as far as just being Kingston. I'm from Kingston. I love Kingston, and my concern is really the residents down there. Like I said, the business is great. I support the business. But the real need down there, as far as an alderman, is how to provide a service to the residents. There's one service I would like to touch on is the city bus service, transportation. That's going to be my main concern, is to how to address the public transportation issues, like when when you're ready to go to work, like at 3 o'clock, they always take a lunch break. So it kind of like throws you off in the rest of the public. So if we don't have adequate transportation in the city of Kingston, nothing else matters. So once we get the public transportation set and in stone, I think we could build from there.
Terrific. We're talking with Clark Richters, a candidate for alderman in Ward 8, and we'll continue talking with him when we come back. Welcome back to Kingston Now. The primaries for City Council are this Tuesday, and with us now is Clark Richters running for alderman in Ward 8. Clark, you're also on the Kingston Library Board. You're a trustee. Tell me about that service and how that will influence your ability to be an alderman.
Well, right now I serve on the operations committee, and my past was from the library. It's been about 10 years over there, really in the public eye as a security guard. So I've kind of like left the security guard because I really care about Midtown in general and how it functions over there. I would love to see for myself, because and I use it myself, is we tend to rely so much on the social electronic era that our kids today are coming away from that. So we really have to keep in mind with the library that, if another blackout, you're going to be flocking to the library. We have to keep the books. We have to promote the books over there where it's more of a social between kids and vice versa. I think that's the most important thing as a library, to keep up with the technology, but also try to come back to the old days where it's a social environment for kids and adults. And, it's kind of like a hands-on reading a book on that.
So you were elected to the position, right?
Yes.
So this won't be your first election then, running for alderman in the primaries. And I assume that there are other members of the board that you have to interact with?
Yes, there's 9.
Okay, which is the same number as the city council.
Right.
Which will prepare you for that experience. And that, when I talk to people who are running for city council, one of the questions I want to say is, why? Have you seen what goes on? It's getting rough and tumble in Kingston city politics.
It is, and I've been following since 2006 with public access, really politics. Even though I'd like to do other things like parade, but it's really I've been keeping an eye on politics and how, people, when they come and go, and they have different ideas, but I think my ideas are just as good as somebody else, and I really think I want a better Midtown as a whole for Kingston, because if you lose one part of Kingston, you're going to lose it all. So we're doing really great down on the waterfront. So we're going to expand that and bring people from downtown or whatever.
You chimed in recently yourself about the mayor, who has suffered the slings and arrows of a lot of people lately. You were a fan of Mayor Gallo when he got elected,
yes.
And you've changed your mind. How come?
Because of the incident of the free store on Franklin Street, the Hot Center. Pat LaRue does an excellent job. She helped me out.
Explain to people what the free store is.
The free store is when they bring stuff from the Hurley Church, and you're allowed to go over there and pick up items that you don't normally have, maybe it'd be shoes or something like that. It's a service that unfortunate people can utilize.
And it's
for that.
free.
So if you're going to a job interview and you don't have a pair of shoes, maybe by chance you can get it. And Pat LaRue does outstanding work. And if there's an agency that really helps you, it's Catholic Charities in that respect. And I wholeheartedly support her in that effort, and I will continue to do. And that's one of my things with the mayor. I thought he was kind of like pushing it aside from that respect.
And why would he be doing that? What would his motivation be?
I believe that his vision is a different vision from what I see. That's the way I take it. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think every resident in the city of Kingston is equal, no matter what their income is. And if you have an unfortunate person, give him a little hand or whatever, and then he can better himself in return, he will better Kingston in that respect. You just can't push people away.
Now, are you actually on the ballot on Tuesday? Is there a Kingston Linehouse Party ballot, or are people going to have to write you in?
I'm gonna ask for a write-in candidacy for the Democratic line. I will be on the ballot in November.
And you've got a couple days left. One of the things that has been evidenced in recent history with Kingston elections is that they are exceedingly close. 5, 4, 11 votes decide the primary and then decide the actual election. Are you getting out and hitting the streets? You walking those hills of Ward 8, knocking on doors?
Yes, yes. And the other side to that is, I think because of what's been going on with politics, people get discouraged with that. And I think it's, as you can see from the library's record of voters, it gets less and less. I want to encourage people to get out and vote. And really, if they really support me in a Democratic primary, regardless of the party affiliation, I'm willing to take phone calls and really talk. And I'm not always right, but I'm willing to sit down and talk with somebody and share my ideas.
Terrific. Clark Richters, good luck on Tuesday.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
You're watching Kingston Now. Ishmail Shabaaz is one of the candidates for Ward 4 Alderman, and we'll meet him next. This is Kingston Now. Ishmail Shabaaz wants to represent Ward 4 in the City Council. Let's meet him and find out why. Hi, welcome to the show, Ishmail.
How you doing?
I'm all right. So that's a question I ask people is, why do you want to get into city politics?
Well, I mean, I've been an advocate for the past 20 years in the ward since I've lived there. And people have been asking me for years. You know, I finished school, and I said, why not? I'm doing it. I can make a big difference, you know, if I got on the board.
Uh-huh. The common feeling around the city is that as Ward 4 goes, which is Midtown,
Yes.
loosely called Midtown, so goes the rest of Kingston.
Yes.
You remember it, if you've been there for 20 years, you remember it when it was pretty nasty, and in recent years, not that long ago, it was still pretty troubled.
Well, I mean, yeah, when I first moved up there, it was drug dealing on every corner. And what happened is that, you know, when the homeowners started to buy the property, we moved them out to Broadway. Compared to now, it's not as high crime. I mean, the last bust they had, 100-some people, that's to stop all the movement. There's bits and pieces, but it's mainly, man, the kids playing in the parking lot where the new police station they want. But other than that, it's quiet. I mean, you know, they stop these kids, you know, illegal stop and frisk, and they get them with weed. Now they know they smoke weed, and they just keep busting them all over again. And that's included in the stats for drugs. But there's no real major, you know, crack or heroin. This last bust that they had, most of the people didn't even live in the city.
Yeah, a lot of those people were from out of the area.
Yeah, because this, you know, has slowed down. You know, the community, man, is trying to get rid of the drugs. I've been involved in getting rid of drugs since '92. I worked for Beto Nasser in Broadway East. Defense group hired Beto Nasser to get rid of the drug dealers, so we did do that. I've been doing that for years because I still license do security. I do, you know, I'm an advocate for the kids. I work with kids. So I want to change the ward, but I want to change the mindset of these kids with different programs. Beto Nasser, we had programs, anger management, substance abuse, violent behavior awareness, gang awareness. These are programs that I want to bring back to the ward. You know, plus I'm also involved with trans art, the Afro-American Cultural Museum on Furnace Street. I'm involved in that because I think that would be good for the community. It would empower the kids to know a little history about who they were and just beautify the whole area because that's an old building and they're fixing it up very well. It's historical and it's big plans that she has. So I think, man, that I don't want to get into dirty baggage that's been going on. I think that the Ward 4 residents need to know what each candidate, man, wants to do with the ward, represent them. And the best thing is to ask questions so they get to know people. You know, walking around and just meeting people is not really going to give them a true insight. I'm in the ward all the time, so people know me. I've been doing this for a long time. the community wants me to win, but they have to come out there and vote. You know, I've talked to them a lot of issues. One of the issues now is that, you know, we have the sinkhole. And the sinkhole, you know, it's been for years that it had to have holes. So it's got to have some type of bacteria and, it's infection. It's got to be, contaminated. So I'm telling people to boil the water. You know, that goes along with, if over time the city is sinking, different areas, and that's over time. So they had to start with a little crack, then it just got bigger and bigger.
Yeah, well, the infrastructure of the city is absolutely something that needs to be addressed. It's 100 years old or older in some places, and the sinkhole, like the Washington Avenue sinkhole, those issues are going to arise more and more unless they're addressed now.
Yes.
We're going to take a quick break, and we'll come back. We'll talk about more of the issues with Ward 4 and with the city as a whole. Okay. This is Kingston Now. We'll be right back with more from Ishmail Shabaaz. Welcome back to Kingston Now. On Tuesday, City of Kingston voters head to the primaries to find out who will be on the ballot for City Council in November. And with us now is Ishmail Shabaaz, running for alderman in Ward 4. We were talking just a couple of moments ago. You made reference to the year 1992 as a very specific reference, and that's an important year for you because there was a conversion in your life. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yes, in 92, I converted to Islam. And I tell people when I converted, I became a man because I was a hustler for a number of years, and it was
you had some legitimate trouble with the law.
Yeah.
And the Daily Freeman actually did a nice profile of you where you said that experience makes you a better candidate.
Yes, they was incorrect about the convictions because it was only 6, but yes, I mean my past, I can relate to these kids. And, I don't hide anything. I'm running under honesty, truthfulness, and loyalty. And I let the kids know when they go through my house, I keep a mugshot so they can see that, I was one of them. A lot of them don't see that in me. That's because I've changed. My mindset have changed. My way of thinking has changed. I'm always thinking about trying to help somebody, trying to change somebody's life around like myself. I started off going to college, and I had 3 kids. At 19, 3 kids, it was like, wow. So I dropped out and couldn't get a job, so I started hustling. And not until years later, one of my kids, my daughter, asked me, why didn't I go back to school? And I didn't have an answer. So I'm that guy now that when a kid makes a mistake, I try to guide him on the right track.
But you did go back to school.
Yes, I did. I did go back to school. And I started in 96, part-time at Ulster. Then 2000, I transferred to Trinity University online, and I got my bachelor's degree in paralegal. And I didn't stop there. I got training in anger management, more substance abuse, mediation training, and more gang training, because I worked at facilities that they would send certain people to go to these trainings, and fortunately I was one. But I like doing it because I can take it back to my community. And that's what I do. I help a lot of people, and that's what I'm continuously do, win or lose.
So how do you reach those kids? I mean, the kids are really the future of the ward, of the city.
Yes.
How do you, when they come in and they see that mugshot and they hear your experience, are you able to reach them enough to make sure that they learn from that?
Well, yes. Because in Beto Nasa we have 3 concepts that we use. Man means mind, words make people, and crime is a moral issue. And man means minds mean that God, our Creator, created everything, but He created man superior than animals. Animals are stronger, faster, but our rational thinking ability makes us superior. We tend to act more like animals than animals do. And that's because words make people. Anything, the TV, the music, is bombarded with sex, violence. So they constantly see that. So their mindset is geared towards, they're programmed to think like that. So and crime is a moral issue, is that we're trying to bring back morals and values to change that mindset. To tell that this is a TV, television, that you stay in school, pull your pants up, and be respectable, and then you would always win. But the other way, you're going to get yourself in more trouble, because once you start get a felony, then they cash you, and it's hard for you to get a job. And even if you change, it's hard for you to get a job. My partners in Beit el-Nasser, 2 of them been to prison. And no, 3 has been to prison, 2 of us haven't. But we're able to reach these kids because we know from experience. I can only tell them about county jail. But as far as the prison, and when I was in college, there was a program that let us go into the prison and talk with the kids. So just that experience, you know, I let them know that fortunately I didn't experience that, but just knowing people. So, you know, I know that I can't change everybody, but if I can turn one person's life around, then I think I'm doing the right thing, and I have. So it's just been rewarding, you know, and I enjoy it, and I hope that I can continuously change people like I have. You know, I'm a good example. I'm 20 years clean, married, 1 woman, and I have 7 kids, 18 grandkids. And I turn my phone off on Sundays because that's their day. You know.
Well, good luck on Tuesday in the primaries. And
Okay, thank you.
And thanks for coming by.
No problem. Thank you.
That's it for this week's show. Thanks to Clark Richters and again to Ishmail Shabaaz. Remember, the primaries are on Tuesday, so get out and vote. And a very special thanks to Jamie Ransom, who has been our intern this summer here on Kingston Now, and she did a great job. Thanks, Jamie. Also, remember, all of our previous shows are available on the Kingston Now YouTube channel, and you can find that link on our Facebook page. For Kingston Now, I'm Jimmy Buff. We'll see you next time.